Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elle, and today I'm going to be doing a recommendation video of right person, wrong time romance recs. I love this trope because there can be so many different tropes in this trope, like second chance, friends to lovers, just all the things. And I'm so excited to share this list with you. I feel like my hair is just like slaying right now. I curled it a different way. I kind of was looking at two different like curling methods, and I did something with my like face framing, so it's just like woof. But anyways, I'm really excited to chat about these books with you, so let's get right into this video. The first book I'm going to talk about is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This book is so unique, and I just loved my time while listening to the audiobook of this one. So our heroine has inherited her great aunt or her aunt's apartment in like New York City after her beloved aunt passed away, and she's just going through a lot of grief at the moment and just really missing her aunt at the moment. And something that her aunt would tell her over and over again is that this apartment is magical. And so something happens where she basically slips 7 years back in time, and her aunt has told her like there's two rules, you know, never fall for the person, and one of them is never fall for the person that you go back in time to. So she ends up falling for the person like 7 years ago, and it is so good because he is staying at her aunt's apartment while her aunt is like on a vacation or something during the summer. And so the heroine goes there and is back in time, and it is so good. Their like start of their romance is absolutely adorable, and then each time she leaves the apartment she goes back to her own time, and so she's trying to like figure out in the present time who the hero is because he only gave her his first name. And it was just adorable. I loved seeing like her trying to find him, and when she did, like trying to remember all of the feelings. For her it was like literally like yesterday, and for him it was 7 years ago. So I thought this was adorable. I loved all of the parts of her like grief journey. It's just such a beautiful book, and I love like the angst and how she didn't know if he would still feel the same way about her like he did 7 years ago, and it was just adorable. I love this one. So good. And the next one I have is With You Forever by Chloe Leese. This is a really cute romance, and I just remember finding it absolutely adorable. So this is the fourth book in the Bergman Brothers series, I think. And the hero and heroine kind of are friends, like a little bit, like their family, like her family and him are like acquaintances, and he's friends with her family. And they had kind of a moment one night when they were playing like a game of like, I think it was Spin the Bottle or something, so they had to kiss. And the heroine ends up having to stay at like the family's like log cabin type thing in the woods, and the hero ends up actually being there too. So it's like forced proximity, and it's really cute. I loved their like romance and how they both had feelings for each other but didn't want to admit it, and they have always kind of like felt like a spark between them ever since, you know, they had that moment. And it was just adorable. If you want a really sweet, fun forced proximity romance, I recommend this one. The next book I'm going to talk about is Powerless by Elsie Silver. I feel like this is her most underrated book in the series, with like tied with Flawless. I love this book. It's just adorable. So this is a friends to lovers romance, and the heroine Sloane is arranged to marry this guy, and she doesn't really want to marry him, but she is just going along with what her parents are saying until her wedding day, when she finds out that he's been cheating on her, and she's like, I'm getting out of here. So she literally runs away from her wedding with her best friend Jasper, and they go on a road trip. And they've always had feelings for each other, but they've never admitted to each other their feelings. And this is such a fun friends to lovers romance. And I loved how they both like realized like they've had feelings for each other for years. So there's so much pining and forced proximity. I think there may be like one bed trope maybe because they're on a road trip. and it's just adorable. I just love like their friendship is so cute. Like they're always there for each other, and they've known each other since childhood. They grew up together during the summers at the ranch, and he's also a hockey player and she is a ballerina. And this is just so adorable, but also spicy. I love the audiobook. This is just such a great, like, friends to lovers, right person, wrong time romance. I just adore this book. Definitely go check it out. Then I have Glimmers of You by Catherine Cowles. This is a fake dating small town romance. So the hero and heroine have known each other for years. The hero is best friends with her older brothers, and they were friends too when they were younger. But something happened where the heroine almost like died, and the hero got really freaked out. So he kind of backed off away from her, just like putting some space between them because he never wants to lose her, and that was just too much for him. And later the heroine finds out that she actually has diabetes, so that's what happened, and now she is managing it, and she knows that she has diabetes, so she's doing a lot better. And so the hero has been away from the town for years, and now he's come back into town. His father is like a billionaire, and they have like a fancy house in the town, so he's like coming back to work for his dad. And the heroine, she sees him one day, but she is trying to ward off this like creepy guy who she went on one date with, and he just can't get a hint that she does not want to go out with him. And so when she sees the hero, she's like, I'm in a relationship with him. And so they have to fake date, and they've always had feelings for each other, mutual pining, and they've just never acted on those feelings, and now they have to start fake dating, and they have to prove it to her family, and it turns into a real relationship. And there's some suspense in this one with a stalker of the heroine. And I just love this book. I loved how he just couldn't help himself from falling for her, even though he put so much distance between them, that like nothing would stop them being together. And it's just so good. This is actually one of my favorites of the series. Billionaire, like forced proximity, and just it's so good. I love this one. Definitely go pick this series up. I feel like this is another underrated Katerina Mora book. I love this one. So this one follows our hero and heroine, and the hero got in a really bad spot in his life, and he is actually living in a homeless shelter. And so the heroine starts volunteering at this homeless shelter and starts befriending the hero. And their friendship turns into a romance. They start dating for a couple of years, and something happens where the heroine has an accident, and she does not remember the hero or ever being with him. So now it is years later, and she kind of like disappeared, and the hero could not find her. And it's years later, and when the hero sees his brother for the first time in a while, the brother introduces his girlfriend, and that is the heroine. And so she has no idea who the hero is. This has like amnesia trope, and like right person, wrong time trope, because he cannot tell her that they were in a relationship because that would really damage her memories. And so he really has to make her fall in love with him again. And she's kind of over his brother, and wants to start kind of doing stuff with the hero to get back at his brother. And it is so good. It's very angsty. I love this one. Lots of drama, but just like destined lovers, like they are meant to be together. And I love seeing her like realize like, oh my gosh, we were, you know, in a relationship before this. And it is just so good. I love this romance. I love Katerina Mora's books, and this is definitely a favorite from her. Then of course I had to put Forget Me Not on this list because this book is so right person, wrong time. So our hero and heroine were in a relationship years ago, but something happened and they broke up. And now it is years later, and the heroine is a big time wedding planner. She's about to get her big break in the industry, and her like client is insisting that they use the hero as their florist. So they were in a relationship years ago, and they are both still so heartbroken over what happened. And yeah, it is a very angsty romance, second chance. They have to work together, forced proximity. They both still love each other, but they are still really like heartbroken over what happened. It is just so good, and I love like this unique romance of how she's a wedding planner and he's a florist, and he has all of these like tattoos of flowers on himself, and her name is a flower and he has it tattooed on himself. And this book is so good. I read it in 2 days. I love it. If you want a really angsty, like forced proximity, second chance romance, definitely check this one out. Then I have Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is such a good romance. It's very slow burn, but so worth the wait. So the hero and heroine were in a relationship years ago, but something happened and the hero moved away and kind of broke the heroine's heart. And now it is years later and he's coming back to the small town where he would spend his summers with her, because each of the books revolve around their like grandfather. If you want to get shares of this company, like they're all billionaires, then you have to fulfill your like contract to get these shares. And so for his contract, he needs to sell his family lake house. But when he goes to the lake house, he discovers that the heroine is also co-owner of the lake house. So they have to work together to sell the house, but she does not want to sell it because she's actually living there. And it is second chance, slow burn, kind of like groveling. He deals with a lot in this book. The hero, he is an alcoholic and he uses substances and abuses them, and it's just a book about healing and forgiving and giving somebody a second chance. And I love this book. I love the character growth of the hero. This book is just like so good. I love how they still have feelings for each other, but she will not settle with him. She's like, you will get better or we're not going to be together. And I loved that about this book, that aspect, and just the healing and the journey that both of the characters go on is amazing. Love this one. Definitely go check it out. Then I have After the Storm by Laura Pavlov. This book is a second chance single dad romance, small town romance. So the hero and heroine were in a relationship in high school, but it was just the right person, wrong time, and they broke up, and the heroine jumped right into a new relationship and actually got married to that person, and the hero got another woman pregnant. So it is years later and the heroine is coming back to the small town because her father is sick and she needs to take care of him, and she's also recently divorced, and the hero still lives in that small town and he is desperate to see her and seek her out and see what her life is like now. And they kind of start up their friendship again, and it leads to something more. He is a single dad, and I love this book. Very angsty. Like, they really have to prove to both of themselves if they can be in a relationship again, because their relationship was kind of like young love. Like, they just weren't ready for a adult relationship, and they really have to figure it out. And I loved how realistic this romance was, and it was just adorable. I loved her relationship with his daughter, and I loved how he would stop at nothing to have her and be with her again. And it's just so good. I love this series. Definitely go check it out. And then I have Wreck My Plans by Jillian Meadows. This is kind of a Christmas romance, but you could definitely still enjoy it. Not like in Christmas season time, like it's still very enjoyable. It's not like shove it down your throat like Christmas romance. It's like kind of very tame. So the hero has been like friends with the heroine's brother for years, and he's been very close with their family. The hero grew up in foster care, and so the heroine's family has really just like brought him into the fold of their family, and he's really considered like a family member. And they have both been pining after each other for 10 years. But 3 years ago, the hero stopped coming to Christmas, and the heroine doesn't know why, and she's kind of avoided him and is still mad at him for kind of like dropping out of their lives. And now it is 3 years later, and she was supposed to go spend Christmas with her best friend, but like the roads are bad or something, and she ends up having to spend it with her family, and he is there. And so it is forced proximity, angsty, age gap. He is also 10 years older than her. And it is so good. I loved like his internal struggle of like, I want her so badly, but I can't cross that line. Like, what will that do to my friendship with her brother? This is also one bed trope. So good. I loved this book. Definitely like a top favorite of 2023. Like, this was so good. If you want a really angsty, forced proximity, age gap, lots of pining, this is definitely the book for you. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Where We Started by Ashley Munoz. This is a motorcycle romance series, second chance. So the hero and heroine were in a relationship in high school, and the heroine broke up with the hero for reasons, and the heroine's dad is the president of the motorcycle in their small town. And it is years later, and the heroine is coming back to the small town because her father passed away, and she's kind of dealing with his assets, and she sees the hero for the first time in years, and he is actually the new president of the motorcycle club, and they have to deal with like asset stuff, and she kind of has to stay in the small town to deal with his affairs. And the hero's so angry at her for leaving him, so angsty, and they're also dealing with a rival motorcycle club out to get them. And I loved this book. Second chance, angsty goodness, like hate to love. This book was incredible. I loved it. This is definitely a beginner like motorcycle romance book. Like, if you've never read motorcycle romances, I would probably start with this one because super easy to read, not a ton of like intricate stuff about, you know, MC clubs and stuff like that. And I just really love this one. It is so good. Definitely right person, wrong time. All right, well, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chat about some of my favorite right person, wrong time romances, and I definitely want you to let me know down below, like, if some of these are your favorites, or what are your favorite right person, wrong time romances, because I would love to know. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.